Hi, it's Jasmin from Fokomo, and today I'm going to do a flip through of both of my journals that I did for this year. I actually started in June of 2023. I didn't start directly in January, but I did journal a lot, so I figured this is the first flip through that I should do. Anyways, let's get started with this first one. I really like this journal. It would have been the perfect journal if it weren't half lined and half blank, which you will see later in the video. But starting off, we have a lot of calligraphy, a lot of warm colors, and then I decided to do a spread in purple, which I don't typically like purple in spreads because I don't think I do them very well, but I think I did that one pretty good. The reason why I stayed consistent with journaling this time is because I was going to have a lot of events, and I was actually going to go on a trip to multiple states. I visited Oregon, I visited Washington, and I even went all the way to Canada, but you won't see that until after this spread. I think it's the next one where I actually left. We were gonna leave the day before, but there were a lot of unexpected things that happened. Anyways, moving on, you'll see that there's a lot of Oregon stuff, or if you stop and pause to read, you'll notice that I'm either talking about the hotel that we went to and that there was orange juice and that it was the best orange juice I've ever tried. But other than that, I really stayed consistent with journaling because of the traveling, because I wanted to record every single detail. And I am glad that I started off with this journal because there's wider lines, which means that I didn't have to write as much. I didn't feel pressured. But yeah, it was really fun. Anyways, a big tip that I can give you guys if you want to stay consistent with journaling is to not invest in a huge journal. There's the typical A5 journal, which I have for next year, but start off with a smaller journal. That way you feel less pressured, and slap things on the pages so that you have less to write, and that way you feel less overwhelmed. You'll notice that there are some spreads here where I have no stickers. It's either because I was going through something emotional, or it's because I was too lazy to decorate it and I wanted to write more. Yeah, and for those of you who are wondering, how do you decorate your spreads? Do you decorate them in advance? Yes, I do. I decorate them in advance, and I could never decorate one day and then write, and then decorate the next day and then write, because it would just make me feel so overwhelmed and I would give up. And that's actually the reason why I was never consistent, because I would always decorate a journal, then the next day decorate a journal, and there's always that one day where you're like, I don't feel like it anymore, and then it eventually leads to multiple days, and then weeks, and then months, and then for me it even led to years. But yeah, I really liked to decorate in advance. I'd decorate once a week, 7 spreads, and then just write away for the rest of the week and then do it again. These days I do decorate multiple days in one day, but I don't do as many because I now write multiple days on one spread. And here you will notice that although that does happen sometimes, typically it's 1 day per spread. I had that rule. I'm not sure why I had that rule, but I did. My favorite spreads are the color yellow in this journal specifically. I don't know, I think the yellow was really popping off. It was so fun. Oh, and I also drew on the spread, which I'm not sure why I never did that ever again. I do want to do that more often. I think I'm a pretty good drawer. I don't consider myself a professional artist or anything. I'm self-taught. I'm not really that great, but I'm pretty decent at it, so I might do that more often. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I think it's towards the end of this journal where I kind of started to lose my momentum. I was still journaling, but I wasn't sure how I was decorating anymore. I had an understanding of what style I had, but at this point I was just kind of slapping on stickers and hoping for the best, which they came out okay. But you will notice that in my next journal that I did that pretty often. So yeah, I'm not sure. I also, this is my favorite spread. My number one in this journal. It's great. I think the color I use the most in my spreads is pink. I love pink, but like I just have a lot of pictures in pink, so that's why I do so many. You will see that again a lot in the next journal, and I mean even my next journal is pink in itself. Barbie influenced me, I'm not gonna lie. Would I ever get a pink journal again? Yes, but not that one, because it's not that good of quality. This journal is really good quality, and truly it would be the perfect journal if all of the pages were lined. That really bothered me, but I mean, other than that, it works great. I think I'm going to use the other half of this journal to practice my calligraphy. That would be nice because I do want to use the entire notebook. I am actually really proud that I used almost the entire journal for this one and the next one. But yeah, it's wonderful. And here is the end. Yep, the rest are blank. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or if it's like that, but if you do get this journal, which I will show at the end what it is, then just be aware that it might be half blank, half lined. Anyways, moving on to the next journal. I got this one from Amazon. I will show you guys the specific journal that I got at the end of the video, and I have it linked below. But this is the first journal where I ever decorated the front, and I also have, you know, if this journal gets lost, please call me, because if it were to get lost, I'd actually cry. I would cry if both of my journals got lost. Anyways, I did a yellow spread at first because, again, I loved yellow spreads in my other journal, but I think for this journal, I was really doing good with the blue and the green spreads. I did not expect that because I'm not much of a blue person, but yeah, I did a lot of red. Surprisingly though, the color that I did the least was red, and I should definitely do that more often because they're really nice. But yeah, I wrote a lot more in this journal because the lines were thinner, and this was a grid journal. I love grid journals. I cannot do dotted journals at all. I have tried my best, but I feel like my handwriting gets kind of crooked. I'm not sure if anybody else has that same experience, but a long time ago I did get myself a dotted journal and I gave up because my handwriting just looked so messy. And I love my lined journals, but you'll notice that I do a lot of horizontal spreads, and they're my favorite. And if I have a lined journal, I cannot do the horizontal spread. It'll just look weird. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, this journal was definitely longer, had a lot more lines, so I was forced to write a lot more. And at some point, I started to feel overwhelmed, and I thought, oh no, I am going to lose my momentum. I am going to stop journaling. I don't want that. So you will notice that there's one spread that's going to come up pretty soon where I have multiple days on the entire spread. And I felt so much better after doing that because at some point I started to dread how much I was going to write. There were days where I did nothing and I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to write? Am I going to write that I woke up and I stretched and I yawned, and I don't know, I was making things up at this point and I hated it. So that's why I decided to do multiple days in one spread, but we're not there yet. This spread is all right. Not my favorite, but it's all right. This spread I love. It's great. It's blue and it's cute, and yeah. And here is the spread with multiple days. I felt so much better with this spread, and yeah, I started doing this a lot. You'll notice. This was just one day. I actually had things to write that day, so I decided to just dedicate it to one day. But we're back to multiple days. I actually post this spread a lot, so I'm going to skip over it really quickly because I seriously posted a lot on my Instagram. Here we have a blue spread. We have Ponyo. I love that movie. Not my favorite Ghibli movie, by the way. My favorite Ghibli movie is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which is a very underrated movie. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend you do. Just keep an open mind because it is a pretty old movie and it might get boring for some of you. At some point it gets boring for me too, but I really love it and the soundtrack is incredible. Enough about Ghibli talk. I'm sorry. I could talk about my favorite Ghibli movies for the rest of the day, but I won't do that to you guys. I decided to do different spreads at this point. I started drawing more lines, making it a little bit more structured, and I really loved that. I think this is my favorite horizontal spread, but I really like the green over the blue, so the first green horizontal spread that I showed was my favorite. I also post this one a lot. Not proud that I'm sorry for those of you who have been on Instagram and see that one. Yeah, we have this spread which has no sort of cohesion, nothing, I don't know. And then we have this day where I was invited to a graduation. It was really fun. I had a great time. But we're back to the structured spreads. I love this one. The orange. I love orange. This was Halloween, and I decided to add that little duck with the Halloween hat, the witch hat. And then we have another pink spread. I'm so sorry if you're tired of seeing pink spreads. I apologize. But then we have a purple spread. I think this is my favorite purple spread out of all the spreads I've ever done. But we go back to this. I decided to do a beige spread. I've never really done that kind of spread. It was really nice. I look at it from time to time. I'm actually debating with my new journal to just do horizontal spreads. I think that would be a cool approach. So I'm still debating. I'm probably gonna put up a poll on my Instagram to see, but I don't know. We will see what happens. Anyways, you'll notice that there are some spreads that have a little dot on the top left corner. That's because it's to remind me that I have to blur something out in the video to make sure that you guys don't see, because it's a little bit personal. But yeah, I want to start posting my journal more, but I'm kind of conflicted because I also want to keep my life a little bit private. So I am going to start blurring things out a lot more often. That's kind of a problem that I feel like a lot of people who post their journal online have, where it's like, I don't know if I should post it or not, and how do you blur it? I don't know. It's a lot of photo editing that comes along with posting your journal online and just being aware. But yeah, that was my last spread. At the very end of the journal, I actually have calendar spreads because I was going through midterms or finals. I only did one for, I think it was September it's October, November, and December. So that's October. Then we have November, and then we have December. You'll notice that in the December one, there's nothing on it. That's because I have yet to decorate it. But yeah, I'm completely done with school, so I don't have that many tasks anymore. I'm gonna be working now. But yes, those were the two journals. And if you are wondering where I got the journals from, the first one, this one's super durable. I got it from Temu. Again, it would be perfect if all the, pages were lined, but they're not, but it's okay. It's pretty affordable. The next one is from Amazon. This one's even more affordable. I think I got it for $6. Only problem is the cover is not durable, but the pages are super thick. So yes, I highly recommend it. The pink one, you'll notice, is the first journal that I've ever decorated on the front, and I'm going to be doing that for next year. But yeah, here's my top 6 favorite spreads. Of course, I love this one. I love the one where I drew, and yep, that's my number 1. Definitely my number 1. But on to the next journal. I love this blue spread and the green one and this one. I really liked the orange. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.